My mother-in-law looked me dead in my face, smiled that sweet church lady smile and said, "You are not fit to raise my grandbabies, and I am going to prove it." Then she handed my husband a check for $200,000. $200,000. That is what my children were worth to her. That is what she paid my husband to help her take my babies away from me. But here is what Gloria Mitchell did not know. While she was building her little case against me, documenting my so-called failures, paying off evaluators, filing fake reports, I was watching. I was documenting too, and I was building something bigger. She thought she was testing my fitness as a mother. She was really testing my strength as a woman. And baby, I passed. But the test broke her completely. Let me tell you how a woman who called herself a prayer warrior tried to destroy me with 73 pages of lies, a fake CPS investigation, and her own son's betrayal. And let me tell you how every single weapon she formed against me exploded in her face. If you have ever had someone smile in your face while plotting your destruction, this story is for you. If you have ever had a mother-in-law who treated you like the help instead of family, this story is for you. If you have ever been called unfit by someone who has never worked a day in their life while you carry everyone on your back, this story is definitely for you. Hit that subscribe button right now, like this video, and comment below where you are watching from. I want to know how many of us have survived a Gloria. How many of us have been tested by people who thought we would break? Now let me take you back to the beginning. Back to when I still believed my husband was on my side. Back to when I thought keeping the peace was the same as keeping my family together. Back to before I found that folder. The folder labeled Custody Case, Brianna. 73 pages, 2 years of planning, and one check that told me everything I needed to know about the man I married. My name is Brianna Cole Mitchell. I am 34 years old. I am a pediatric nurse practitioner. I have dedicated my life to saving children, and my own mother-in-law tried to convince a court that I was unfit to raise mine. This is the story of how she failed, how they all failed, and how I walked out of that courtroom with my children, my house, my dignity, and my peace. While Gloria Mitchell walked out in tears, banned from seeing the grandchildren she claimed to be protecting. The test was supposed to break me. Instead, it broke her. Let me tell you about my life before everything fell apart. Or what I thought was my life. What I now realize was just a performance I was putting on for people who never appreciated a single thing I did. I met Desmond Mitchell 8 years ago at a medical conference in Atlanta. I was presenting research on pediatric emergency care. He was there representing his company's IT services. He was charming, tall, had that smile that made you feel like you were the only woman in the room. He listened when I talked about my work like it actually mattered to him. Looking back now, I realize he was not impressed by my ambition. He was calculating what it could do for him. We dated for 2 years before he proposed. His mother, Gloria, was at the engagement dinner already looking at me like I was something stuck to the bottom of her shoe. I told myself she was just protective, that she would warm up to me once she saw how much I loved her son. 6 years later, that woman still looked at me the same way, and I was still making excuses for her. We got married when I was 28. I was already a nurse practitioner by then, making good money, building my career. Desmond had his IT stable, but not spectacular. I did not care about the income difference. I loved him. I thought we were partners. I put $60,000 down on our house. My savings. Every dollar I had scraped together since I started working at 16 years old. My grandmother died when I was 25 and left me a small inheritance. That money, combined with what I saved, bought us our home. The house was supposed to be in my name only. My mother begged me. She said, "Baby, protect yourself. You never know what can happen." But Desmond looked so hurt when I brought it up. He said, "We are married, Bree. What is yours is mine, and what is mine is yours. That is what partnership means." So I put both our names on the deed. That decision would come back to haunt me. But I will get to that. We had our first daughter, Zoe, a year after we got married. Then Isaiah came along 2 years later. My babies, my heart walking around outside my body. Zoe is 5 now, starting kindergarten, smart as a whip, curious about everything. Isaiah just turned 3, still attached to my hip, still runs to me crying, "Mama," every time I walk through the door. Those children are my entire world, and someone thought they could take them from me. Let me tell you about a typical Sunday in my house, because Sundays were Gloria Mitchell's domain, and I was just a guest in my own family. Every Sunday we had to go to Gloria's church, not our church, Gloria's church, the one where she had been a member for 40 years, the one where everyone knew her name, knew her business, and believed every single word that came out of her mouth. Getting ready for Sunday service in my house was a production. I would wake up at 5 in the morning, even though church did not start until 11, because there was breakfast to make, children to bathe, and dress hair, to do outfits, to iron. Desmond's suit had to be pressed just right. Gloria would notice if it was not. And where was Desmond during all this preparation? Sleeping. Always sleeping. "Baby, I'm tired. I worked hard this week." That was his excuse for everything. So, I would get myself ready while getting the kids ready. Zoe in her little dress, with her hair done in 2 perfect puffs. Isaiah in his tiny suit looking like a little gentleman. Me in whatever church-appropriate outfit I could throw together in the 15 minutes I had left after taking care of everyone else. And Desmond would roll out of bed at 10:30, shower, put on the suit I ironed, and walk out the door looking fresh while I looked like I had already lived an entire day. The drive to Gloria's church was 30 minutes. 30 minutes of Zoe asking questions, and Isaiah fussing, and me praying I would make it through another Sunday without losing my mind. When we arrived, Gloria would be waiting, not for us, for her grandbabies. That is what she called them. Hers, never mine, never ours. Hers. "There are my grandbabies." She would coo, swooping down on Zoe like a hawk on a mouse. She would take my daughter's hand and lead her away without so much as a glance in my direction. Isaiah would reach for me confused, and Gloria would roll her eyes like my own son's attachment to me was an inconvenience. The church mothers loved Gloria. She played the part perfectly. The devoted grandmother, the prayer warrior, the woman who raised her son right. They did not know she had never worked a day in her life because her husband left her $400,000 in life insurance when he died. They did not know she had been living off that money for 10 years while judging everyone else's hustle. I would sit in that church pew every Sunday, smiling, nodding, pretending everything was fine. The pastor would preach about submission, and I would feel Gloria's eyes on me. The choir would sing about blessings, and I would count the minutes until I could go home. After service came mandatory dinner at Gloria's house. Mandatory. That was Desmond's word. "Babe, we have to go. It is family time. My mother expects us." And what did family time look like? Me cooking food at my house and bringing it to hers, because Gloria always complained that the work of hosting was too much for her. Me sitting at her table while she criticized everything I made. "This mac and cheese is a little dry, Brianna. Zoe baby eats some of Grandma's instead. Grandma knows how you like it. These greens could use more seasoning. Did you use smoked turkey or regular? You know smoked turkey makes all the difference. I see you brought store-bought rolls. I always make my rolls from scratch, but I suppose not everyone has the time. And my personal favorite, Brianna, honey, you look so tired. All that working must be exhausting. The children must miss you so much when you are gone all those hours." That one was her specialty. The concerned comment that was really an accusation. "You work too much. You are not here enough. You are failing as a mother." I would bite my tongue every single time. I would smile and nod and say, "You are right, Miss Gloria. I am trying to find better balance." I was always trying to find better balance between 12-hour shifts and motherhood, better balance between paying all the bills and still being present for homework and bath time, better balance between keeping my husband happy and keeping my sanity. But there was no balance. There was just me spinning plates waiting for everything to crash. One Sunday after dinner, I overheard Gloria talking to her church friends in the kitchen. She did not know I was in the hallway. Or maybe she did, and she did not care. That girl thinks she is better than everybody because she has that degree. But book smarts is not the same as mother's intuition. Those children need stability. They need a mother who is present, not one who drops them off with strangers all day while she runs around playing doctor. I'm not a doctor. I am a nurse practitioner. There is a difference. But Gloria never bothered to learn what I actually did. She just knew it took me away from the house, and that was enough evidence for her case against me. My Desmond works so hard, she continued to her friends. That man is exhausted trying to hold everything together while she chases her career. A wife is supposed to be a helpmeet. That is what the Bible says. But Brianna, she is just taking. I stood in that hallway and listened to this woman who had never worked, never struggled, never provided for anyone, call me a taker. I listened to her paint my husband, the man who had not cooked a meal or washed a dish in years, as some kind of martyr. And I said nothing. I went back to the living room, collected my children, and told Desmond we needed to leave. He grumbled about cutting the visit short. Gloria stood at the door and hugged the kids like she might never see them again. You all be good for Mommy, she said to them. Then she looked at me. Brianna, make sure you take care of my son. He needs his rest. I nodded. I smiled. I drove home in silence while Desmond scrolled his phone and the kids fell asleep in the back seat. That was my life every Sunday for 6 years, smiling through insults, providing for people who never thanked me, trying to earn love from a woman who had decided to hate me the moment her son brought me home. And I had no idea that whole time while I was trying to keep the peace, Gloria Mitchell was keeping records. Every time I looked tired, she took a note. Every time my house was not spotless, she took a picture. Every time my child had a normal toddler tantrum, she took a video. She was building a case, and I was too busy surviving to see it coming. Let me tell you what a typical week looked like for me before everything exploded. Monday through Friday, my alarm went off at 5 in the morning. Not because I wanted to wake up that early, because that was the only way I could get everything done before my shift started. 5 a.m., out of bed, start coffee, start breakfast, pack lunches for both kids. Pack Desmond's lunch too, because he would complain that buying food was too expensive, even though he never offered to make his own. 5:45. Wake up Zoe. Fight with her about getting dressed because she is 5 and has opinions about everything. Do her hair because it needs to be neat for school. Deal with her meltdown because the barrettes I chose were not the ones she wanted. 6:15. Wake up Isaiah, change his diaper, wrestle him into clothes. Deal with his meltdown because he wants Mama to hold him, and I have to put him down to finish getting ready. 6:45. Get myself dressed. Hair in a bun because there is no time for anything else. Minimal makeup. Scrubs on. 7 a.m. Load kids in the car. Drop Zoe at school. Drop Isaiah at daycare. 7:30. Arrive at work for a 12-hour shift. 7 p.m. Leave work. Pick up Isaiah from daycare. Pick up Zoe from after-school care. 7:45. Get home. Start dinner because no one else has. Help Zoe with homework while cooking. Keep Isaiah from destroying the house while doing both. 8:30. Dinner on the table. Desmond finally emerges from wherever he has been. 9 p.m. Bath time for both kids. Story time. Bedtime negotiations with Zoe, who never wants to sleep. 10 p.m. Kids finally asleep. Clean up the kitchen. Do a load of laundry. Prep for the next day. 11 p.m. Collapse into bed. Do it all again tomorrow. And Desmond. What was his schedule? He rolled out of bed at 7:30 because his job started at 9 and traffic was light going that direction. He worked until 5, sometimes 5:30. Then he would come home, change clothes, and tell me he was going to network or meet a client or check on Mom. He was home for dinner maybe 3 nights a week. And on those nights, he sat at the table like a guest waited to be served, ate without helping, and retreated to the living room to watch television, while I handled bedtime alone. That was my partner. That was the man I built a life with. And the money. Let me tell you about the money, because that is where the real story lives. I made $125,000 a year. That is not a small amount. That is a blessing. I worked hard for every single dollar, and I was proud of what I had built. Desmond made $65,000. Combined, we should have been comfortable. More than comfortable. We should have been building wealth. But every month I watched money disappear, and I could not figure out where it was going. Our mortgage was $2,400. My account. Auto pay. Every month since we bought the house. Daycare for Isaiah was $1,800. My account. After school care for Zoe was $400. My account. Utilities, electricity, gas, water, internet ran about $500 combined. My account. Car notes. We had 2 cars. His was nicer than mine because he said he needed to look professional for client meetings. Both payments came out of our joint account, which was really my account because I was the only one depositing anything into it. Groceries, gas, insurance, everything. All me. Desmond's contribution to our household, he claimed to deposit about $1,500 a month into our joint account. But when I looked at the statements, sometimes it was $1,000, sometimes it was $800, sometimes he would forget for weeks at a time. I had expenses this month, babe. I will catch up. That was always his answer. Expenses. What expenses? His car was paid by our joint account. His gas was paid by our joint account. He ate the food I bought and cooked. His clothes were purchased by me because he said shopping stressed him out. What expenses could this man possibly have that I did not know about? I found out later. Boy, did I find out. But at the time, I was too tired to dig, too exhausted to question, too worn down to fight. I told myself we were building something together. I told myself he would contribute more when his career took off. I told myself things would get easier. I told myself a lot of lies to survive that marriage. 3 weeks before I found the folder, I had a health scare that should have woken me up. I was at work in the middle of a shift and suddenly I could not catch my breath. My chest felt tight. My vision went a little blurry. I had to grab the counter to steady myself. My colleague Nikki saw me struggling. Nikki and I went to nursing school together. She is an ER doctor, now brilliant and blunt and the best friend I have ever had. Bree, what is wrong with you? You look like you are about to pass out. I am fine, just tired. Girl, you are always tired. That is not normal. Sit down. Let me check your blood pressure. She took my blood pressure right there in the hallway. 160/95. Dangerously high, stroke territory. Brianna, this is serious. You need to go to the ER right now. I shook my head. I cannot leave. We are short-staffed. I have patients waiting. Nikki grabbed my arm. You are going to be the patient if you do not slow down. When is the last time you took a day off? When is the last time you slept more than 5 hours? When is the last time you did something for yourself? I could not answer her. I genuinely could not remember. She made me sit in the break room for 30 minutes, made me drink water, made me promise to call my doctor and get on blood pressure medication. You are going to work yourself to death, she said. And for what? For who? That husband of yours. He is not worth your health, Bree. I got defensive. Nikki, you do not understand. Desmond is stressed too. He is working on building his consulting business. We are both just in a hard season right now. Nikki looked at me like I had grown a second head. Bree, I love you, but you sound like a fool. That man has been building his business for 4 years. What has he built? How many clients does he have? Because from where I am standing, it looks like the only thing he is building is excuses while you carry the whole family on your back. I did not talk to Nikki for a week after that. I was angry. How dare she judge my marriage? How dare she talk about my husband like that? But here is the thing about real friends. They tell you the truth even when you do not want to hear it. And they are still there when you finally open your eyes. That same week, something else happened that should have been a sign. I was at work a night shift and I got a call from Isaiah's daycare. It was almost 6 o'clock. They were supposed to close at 5:30. Desmond was supposed to pick him up. Mrs. Mitchell, no one has come for Isaiah. We have been trying to reach your husband, but there is no answer. Can you come get him? My heart stopped. My baby had been sitting at daycare waiting, probably scared, for almost an hour, and his father could not be bothered to answer his phone. I had to leave work, in the middle of my shift. Colleagues had to cover my patients. I raced across town, breaking every speed limit, praying my son was okay. When I got there, Isaiah was in his teacher's lap, red-eyed, from crying, clutching his little stuffed dinosaur. Mama! He reached for me and I almost collapsed with relief. The daycare charged me a late fee, $50, on top of the humiliation of being that parent, the one who does not show up, the one who forgets. Except I did not forget. My husband did. And when I called him furious, he answered like nothing was wrong. What? Oh, I thought you were getting him today. Desmond, you knew I had a shift. We talked about this morning. You said you would pick him up. My phone died. I was at my mom's. Time got away from me. I could hear Gloria in the background, her voice sharp and superior. Is that Brianna? Tell her the children need stability. Tell her a mother who works all night is not going to have children who feel secure. Gloria knew. She knew Desmond forgot. And instead of holding her son accountable, she used it as more ammunition against me. I hung up without responding. I drove home in silence. I put my children to bed and sat in the dark living room, wondering when exactly my life had become this exhausting. I did not know it then, but that incident was on the list, Gloria's list, under a bullet point that said child forgotten at daycare due to mother's work schedule. She was turning my husband's failures into evidence of my neglect, and he was helping her. The final warning sign came 2 days before I found the folder. Desmond came home late. Again. Almost midnight. I had been asleep or trying to sleep, but I heard him come in. I heard him in the bathroom, heard the shower running. When he came to bed, I pretended to be asleep. But I smelled it. Perfume. A woman's perfume that was not mine. Something sweet and expensive and completely unfamiliar. I told myself I was imagining things. I told myself it was a coworker's perfume that rubbed off during a meeting. I told myself I was being paranoid. But my body knew. My gut knew. Something was very, very wrong. I just was not ready to face it yet. 2 days later, I would have no choice. The day everything changed started like any other. It was a Friday. I was supposed to work the evening shift, but it got canceled because they were overstaffed. Happens sometimes in healthcare. Feast or famine. I decided not to tell Desmond. I thought it would be nice to surprise him. Maybe we could have dinner together for once. Maybe I could rest and actually feel like a person again. When I got home around 4 in the afternoon, the house was empty, quiet. Desmond's car was gone. The kids were at Gloria's house because Desmond had picked them up after school, said he wanted to give me a break since I would be working late. See how that worked? He was going to drop the kids at his mother's and go do whatever he wanted to do while I worked my shift. When the shift got canceled, his whole plan fell apart. But I did not know any of that yet. I just knew I had a quiet house for the first time in months. No children demanding my attention. No husband expecting me to serve him. Just silence. I walked through the house like a stranger. Looked at the family pictures on the wall. Looked at the life I had built. The life I was paying for. The life that suddenly felt hollow. I went into the home office, our home office, the room we shared, but Desmond used most because I was never home long enough to sit at a desk. His laptop was on the desk open, the screen dark, but not quite asleep. I was not looking for anything. I swear I was not snooping. I was just going to close the laptop and put it away. I hate electronics cluttering up surfaces. It is one of my things. But when I touched the laptop, the screen lit up. And what I saw stopped my heart. An email. Open. On the screen. From Gloria Mitchell to Desmond Mitchell. Subject line RE custody case. Brianna. I knew I should close it. I knew I should walk away. That was my husband's private email. His private correspondence with his mother. I had no right to read it. But my name was in that subject line. My name and the words custody case. I read the email, and then I read it again. And then I had to sit down because my legs would not hold me anymore. Let me tell you exactly what that email said, because I have it memorized, word for word. Those words are burned into my brain forever. Desmond, the investigator, is ready. She is going to do the home visit next week. Make sure the house looks bad. Do not clean. Let Brianna work her shifts like always. We need photographs to add to the file. I have attached the updated evidence file. It is 73 pages now. Very comprehensive. The CPS report will be filed on Monday. Anonymous tip from a concerned neighbor. My friend at the agency will handle it personally. I know this is hard, baby, but it is for the children. They deserve better than what Brianna can give them. They deserve a stable home, a present mother, someone who prioritizes family over career. And Keisha is ready. She has always loved you, Desmond. She will be a wonderful stepmother. The children will adjust. Remember $200,000 when this is done. You and the children can move in with me at first. Then you and Keisha can find a place together. I'm so proud of you for finally seeing the truth about that woman. Love, Mom. I could not breathe. I literally could not breathe. My hands were shaking so badly, I almost dropped the laptop. 73 pages. 2 years of documenting my failures. A fake CPS report. An investigator in Gloria's pocket. Someone named Keisha who was apparently ready to replace me. And $200,000. Payment for my husband to take my children. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw that laptop through the window. I wanted to drive to Gloria's house and drag her out by her church wig and show the whole congregation who she really was. But I did not. Because somewhere in the middle of my rage, my brain kicked in. The lawyer brain I had developed from years of working with legal teams, from preparing documentation for cases, from understanding how evidence works. If I confronted them now, I would lose. They would deny everything. They would delete the emails, destroy the files, make me look like the crazy paranoid wife they were trying to paint me as. No, I needed evidence of my own. I took a deep breath. I clicked on the attachment. 73 pages opened up on that screen. The first page was a table of contents. A table of contents for my destruction, organized by category, dated by entry. Section 1, evidence of neglect, 23 pages. Section 2, evidence of unstable home environment, 18 pages. Section 3, evidence of emotional volatility, 12 pages. Section 4, financial evidence of irresponsibility, 10 pages. Section 5, witness statements, 8 pages. Section 6, professional assessment, 2 pages. I opened Section 1. Photographs, dozens of photographs. My kitchen on a morning when I had worked a double shift. Dishes in the sink, crumbs on the counter, not filthy, just lived in, just real. But the way the photos were taken, the angles, the lighting, they made it look like something from a hoarder documentary. There was a photo of my laundry room, clothes in a basket waiting to be folded. A normal Tuesday in any American household. But the caption on the photo said children's clothes left dirty and unwashed for days. There were photos of my children's bedrooms, toys on the floor, unmade beds, normal happy children's rooms. But according to Gloria, evidence of neglect. Section 2 was worse. Videos. Videos of my children having tantrums. Normal, developmentally appropriate tantrums that every toddler in America has daily. Isaiah crying because he did not want to leave the park. Zoe screaming because her brother touched her toy. But the way they were edited, they made my children look distressed, traumatized, like they were being raised in chaos. There was a video of me grabbing Zoe's arm at a mall. I remembered that day. She was about to run into traffic. I grabbed her to save her life, but the video made it look like I was being rough with my child. Section 3 was screenshots of texts between me and Desmond, texts where I expressed frustration, normal human frustration that any exhausted mother might express. I am so tired I could cry. Why can't anyone in this house help me? I feel like I am losing my mind. Normal venting to your spouse, but in Gloria's file evidence of emotional instability, evidence that I was mentally unfit to parent. Section 4 was financial records, credit card statements in my name, charges for things I had never purchased, expensive handbags, designer shoes, dinners at restaurants I had never been to. I realized instantly what had happened. The credit card linked to our joint account. The one Desmond always borrowed because his card had limits. He had been spending money and the charges went to my account. My name, my credit. He was framing me for his own spending, making me look financially irresponsible with my own money. Section 5 was statements from church members, Gloria's church members, people who barely knew me, people who only saw me on Sunday mornings exhausted and quiet because I was just trying to survive. Brianna always seems distant and uninterested in the children during a service. I never see her interact warmly with her husband. She seems cold. Gloria has mentioned concerns about the children's well-being. She is such a devoted grandmother. Lies. All lies. From people who did not know me but were happy to help Gloria destroy me. And Section 6. The professional assessment. 2 pages from a licensed family therapist. A woman named Dr. Patricia Simmons. A woman I had never met. A woman who claimed to have observed me and my children and concluded that I showed signs of emotional detachment and parenting deficiencies. A fake evaluation from a professional who was apparently in Gloria's pocket. 73 pages. 2 years of building a case. Every moment of weakness, every normal struggle, every human imperfection documented and twisted into evidence of my unfitness as a mother. I closed the file. My face was wet. I had not even realized I was crying. Then I opened the email thread. I scrolled down, read every exchange between my husband and his mother, emails about Keisha, about how she would be a better wife, about how she understood the importance of family, about how she was already planning the children's rooms at their new house, emails about money, about the $200,000 payment Gloria would give Desmond once the custody case was won, about how it would be wired to his account the day the judge ruled in his favor. There was even a scan of the check, already written, already signed, $200,000 made out to Desmond Mitchell. Memo line, for the children's future, for the children's future. That is what she called paying my husband to steal my babies. I sat in that office chair for a long time, not crying anymore, just thinking. My husband had been plotting against me for 2 years. My mother-in-law had been documenting my every move. They had a fake CPS report ready to file. They had an evaluator in their pocket. They had church members lined up to testify against me, and they thought they were going to win. They thought I would be blindsided. They thought I would crumble. They did not know who they were dealing with. I am Brianna Cole Mitchell. I was raised by a single mother who worked 3 jobs to keep us fed. I put myself through nursing school while working full-time. I built my career from nothing, fighting for every opportunity, proving myself over and over in a field that does not always welcome Black women at the top. I have survived worse than Gloria Mitchell, and I was about to show her exactly what happens when you come for a mother's children. I took photographs of everything, every email, every page of that file, every text exchange, every piece of evidence they thought they had against me. Then I forwarded everything to my own email, a secret email that Desmond did not know about, an account I created years ago and never told anyone about because my mama taught me to always have an escape plan. I closed the laptop exactly the way I found it. I left the office. I walked to the kitchen and poured myself a glass of water. And I waited. Desmond came home around 10 that night. He walked in smelling like perfume again, that same sweet, unfamiliar scent. Keisha's perfume I now knew. He saw me sitting at the kitchen table in the dark. "Bree, why are you sitting in the dark? I thought you had a shift tonight." "It got canceled." My voice was calm, steady. "Where are the kids?" "At my mom's. I figured since you were working they could spend the night there. Give you a break. Give me a break. Or give him and Keisha a break. Or give Gloria more time to poison my children against me." "That is nice of you," I said. "Thoughtful." He looked at me strangely. I never complimented his relationship with his mother. He was suspicious. "You okay, babe? You seem off." "Just tired. Long week." He nodded, relieved. Stupid man. Guilty, stupid man who thought he was smarter than me. "Well, get some rest. I'm going to shower and go to bed." He walked past me. I watched him go. Tomorrow I would call my sister Patricia, the paralegal, the one who worked at one of the best family law firms in the city. Tomorrow I would call my best friend Nikki, the one who had been telling me for years that something was wrong. Tomorrow I would call my cousin Tamara, the one who worked for CPS, who knew exactly how fake reports got filed and how to expose them. Tomorrow I would start building my case. But tonight, I just sat in the dark. And I let them think they were winning. Gloria thought she was testing my fitness as a mother. She was about to find out what happens when you test a woman who has nothing left to lose. That test was going to break her. I did not sleep that night. How could I? Every time I closed my eyes, I saw those 73 pages. Every time I started to drift off, I heard Gloria's voice in my head. "You are not fit to raise my grandbabies." By 5 a.m, I gave up trying to rest. I sat on the edge of my bed watching Desmond sleep peacefully beside me. This man I had loved for 8 years. This man I had supported, funded, believed in. He was getting paid to destroy me. I looked at his face in the darkness, tried to find the man I married, tried to understand how we got here. But all I saw was a stranger who smelled like another woman's perfume and dreamed about spending his mother's blood money. I picked up my phone and sent 3 text messages. To Nikki, "I need you, emergency, your house, 7 a.m, do not ask questions yet." To my sister Patricia, "Pat, I need legal help, bad. Can you meet me at Nikki's at 7? Bring your brain." To my cousin Tamra, "Tam, I need your CPS expertise. Something is happening. Nikki's house. 7, please." All 3 responded within minutes. That is how you know you have real ones. They do not ask why at 5 a.m. They just say, "I will be there." I showered, got dressed, and left the house before Desmond woke up. Left him a note saying I had to go in early for a meeting. He would not question it. He never questioned anything I did as long as it did not inconvenience him. Nikki's house was 20 minutes away, a nice townhouse in a quiet neighborhood. She had bought it after her divorce 3 years ago, built her life back up from nothing. She was proof that women survive, women rebuild, women thrive. I pulled into her driveway at 6:45, sat in my car for a few minutes trying to gather myself, trying to figure out how to say the words. My husband is being paid to take my children. My mother-in-law has been building a case against me for 2 years. There is a woman named Keisha waiting to replace me. It sounded insane. It was insane, but it was also true. Nikki opened the door before I could knock. She took one look at my face and pulled me inside without a word, wrapped me in a hug that I did not know I needed. I held on for a long time. "Whatever it is," she said into my hair, "we are going to handle it. You hear me? We handle things. That is what we do." Patricia arrived next. My older sister, 41 years old, sharp as a razor, worked as a paralegal at one of the best family law firms in the city. She had been through her own divorce years ago, knew how ugly things could get, knew how to fight. Tamara came last. My cousin, on my mother's side, is 38, worked for Child Protective Services for 15 years, had seen every kind of case, knew the system inside and out, knew how it could be used and how it could be abused. The four of us sat in Nikki's living room, coffee on the table that no one touched, all eyes on me. "Okay, Bree," Nikki said. "Talk. What is going on?" I pulled out my phone, opened my secret email, showed them everything. I watched their faces as they read, watched Nikki's expression go from concern to fury, watched Patricia's eyes narrow with that lawyer focus she gets when she is building a case in her head, watched Tamara's jaw tighten as she recognized exactly what was happening. When they finished reading, no one spoke for a long moment. Patricia broke the silence first. 73 pages. This woman has been building a custody case against you for 2 years, documenting every perceived failure, preparing fake reports, bribing evaluators. And your husband knew, Nikki added, her voice hard. He has been helping her. He has been setting you up. The daycare pickup, he forgot. I bet that was on purpose. Anything to make you look bad. Tamara was scrolling through the documents, her CPS training kicking in. This report they are planning to file, an anonymous tip from a concerned neighbor. That is how most fraudulent reports start. And if Gloria has someone inside the agency. She looked up at me. Bree, this is serious. If they file this and their person handles it, the investigation will be rigged from the start. So what do we do? I asked. How do I fight this? Patricia leaned forward. First, let me ask you something important. The house. Whose name is on the deed? Both of us? Desmond and me. Okay, but the down payment. Where did that money come from? My savings. $60,000, all mine. I saved it before we were married. Part of it was inheritance from my grandmother. Patricia nodded slowly. And the mortgage payments? Who has been paying those? Me. Every single one. Auto pay from my account for 6 years. Car notes. Me. Both cars. My credit, my payments. Daycare, utilities, groceries. All me, Pat. I pay for everything. Desmond contributes maybe $1,500 a month. Sometimes less. Sometimes nothing. Patricia sat back with a look I recognized. It was the look she got when she found a weakness in an opposing case. The look that said she had just found a weapon. Brianna, do you understand what you just told me? That I have been a fool for 6 years? No. Patricia shook her head. You just told me that you have funded this entire marriage. You have receipts for everything. Bank statements, payment records, 6 years of proof that you are the sole financial provider for this household. Tamara caught on. And Gloria's whole case is built on you being an unfit mother because you work too much. But the reason you work is because your husband does not contribute. That is not neglect. That is survival. Nikki jumped in. And this $200,000 payment, Gloria is literally bribing Desmond to pursue custody. That is not a concerned grandmother. That is coercion. That is paying someone to commit fraud. When Patricia was already making notes on her phone. Here is what we are going to do. We are going to build a counter case. Everything they have on you, we are going to have 10 times more on them. She started listing action items like the paralegal she was. 1. Financial records. Bree, I need 6 years of bank statements. Every deposit, every withdrawal, every auto pay. We are going to show exactly who has been funding this family. 2. The house. You said the down payment was your money, including inheritance. Do you have documentation of that? The inheritance papers, bank records showing the transfer. 3. The fake CPS report. Tamara, can you flag this internally before they file? Tamara nodded. If I know what kind of report they are planning, I can make sure it gets assigned to a legitimate investigator. Not Gloria's friend, but I have to be careful. I cannot tip them off that we know. 4. Desmond's spending. If he has secret credit cards, secret accounts that are fair money going to this Keisha woman, we need to find it. Follow the money. 5. The evaluator, Dr. Patricia Simmons. We need to find out who she really is and what her connection to Gloria is. If she provided a fake professional evaluation that is fraud, that could end her career. Patricia looked up from her notes. And 6. We need a lawyer, a real one, not a paralegal like me, someone who specializes in custody battles, someone who has seen this kind of thing before. I cannot afford a big lawyer, I said. Gloria drained our accounts. Desmond has been taking money out for months. I have maybe a few thousand in my personal savings. You let me worry about that, Patricia said. My boss, attorney Veronica Shaw, she has been doing family law for 30 years. She takes cases like this pro bono sometimes. Cases where a woman is being railroaded. Cases where the system is being weaponized. Let me talk to her. Nikki reached over and grabbed my hand. Bree, listen to me. I know this is overwhelming. I know you are scared. But look around this room. You have a doctor, a paralegal, and a CPS expert all ready to go to war for you. Gloria Mitchell has church ladies and a guilty son. She is outgunned. Tamara nodded. And she does not know we know. That is our biggest advantage. Right now, Gloria thinks she's about to blindside you. She thinks that CPS report is going to come out of nowhere. She thinks you're going to fall apart. So what do we do? I asked again. Do I confront Desmond? Do I tell him I know? No, all three of them said at once. Patricia explained. If you confront him now, they will destroy evidence, delete emails, shred documents. They will change their plan, and you will not know what is coming. You need to let them think they are winning. Let them file the CPS report, Tamara added. Let them bring their rigged investigator. We will make sure a real one shows up instead. Let them think their trap is working, and then we spring ours. Nikki squeezed my hand. You're going to have to be an actress for a few weeks. Smile at Desmond. Be polite to Gloria. Do not let on that anything has changed. Can you do that? Patricia asked. Can you look at the man who is trying to steal your children and pretend everything is normal? I thought about Zoe, my baby girl who was just starting to read, who came home from school every day excited to show me what she learned, who still crawled into my bed during thunderstorms because Mama made the scary sounds go away. I thought about Isaiah, my little man who followed me around the house like a shadow, who said Mama before any other word, who fell asleep every night with his hand wrapped around my finger. Could I pretend? Could I smile at the people trying to take my children? For them, I could do anything. Yes, I said, I can do it. Good, Patricia said. Now let us talk about what happens next. Tamara, you said the report is being filed Monday, according to the email. That gives us the weekend to prepare. Bree, I need you to do something important. When you go home, act normal. But while Desmond is not watching, I need you to document everything. The current state of your house, the children's rooms, the refrigerator full of food, everything that proves you are a fit mother. Take videos, Nikki added. Walk through the whole house narrating. Timestamp everything. Show that your home is clean, safe, safe and full of love. Tamara continued. And when the CPS investigator shows up, be ready. Be calm, be cooperative. Have documentation ready, the children's medical records, their school records, proof of every appointment, every vaccination, every checkup. Most importantly, Patricia said, do not let them see you sweat. Gloria is counting on you falling apart. That is the whole point of the surprise investigation. They want you panicked and defensive. Do not give them that satisfaction. I nodded, feeling something shift inside me. The fear was still there. But underneath it, something else was growing, something hot and sharp and powerful. Anger. Righteous, justified maternal anger. These people thought they could take my children. They thought I was weak because I was quiet. They thought I was defeated because I did not fight back against Gloria's insults. They were about to find out that there is nothing more dangerous than a mother who has been pushed too far. One more thing, I said. This Keisha person, who is she? How long has this been going on? Nikki pulled up social media on her phone. Keisha Williams, 29 years old, works at a daycare part-time, lives with her mother, single, no kids. She turned the phone to show me a picture. A pretty woman, young, smiling, no idea that she was part of a scheme to destroy a family. Or maybe she knew exactly what she was doing. She has been posting pictures of expensive dinners lately, Nikki continued scrolling. Jewelry, a new designer bag. And look at this. She zoomed in on a photo. In the background of Keisha's selfie, barely visible, was the reflection of a man's hand. A hand wearing a watch I recognized. Desmond's watch. The one I bought him for our 5th anniversary. He is spending money on her, I said quietly. Our money. My money. And that is exactly what we are going to prove, Patricia said. Every dinner, every gift, every dollar he has spent on her while you were paying the bills. We are going to document all of it. I looked around at my sister circle, my army, my ride-or-die women who dropped everything on a Saturday morning to help me fight for my life. Thank you, I said. All of you. I do not know what I would do without you. You would figure it out, Nikki said, because that is who you are. But you do not have to figure it out alone. We are here. We have got you. Patricia stood up. I'm going to call Veronica Shaw right now. See if she can meet with us tomorrow. Tamara gathered her things. I'm going to go into the office and pull some strings. Make sure that CPS report lands on the right desk when it comes in. Nikki looked at me. And you are going to go home, kiss your babies, and act like everything is normal. Can you do that? I stood up, straightened my spine, lifted my chin. Watch me. The next few days were the longest of my life. I went home that Saturday and played my role perfectly. When Desmond brought the kids back from Gloria's, I hugged them like nothing was wrong. Made dinner, did bath time, read bedtime stories. Normal. Everything normal. Desmond watched me that night. I could feel his eyes on me looking for cracks, looking for signs that I knew something. You seem different today, he said, more relaxed. Just grateful, I said, smiling at him. Grateful for my family, for this life we have built. He looked uncomfortable. Guilty people always do when you show them kindness they do not deserve. That is nice, babe. Real nice. I bet it was nice for him. Nice to know his wife still loved him while he plotted to destroy her. Nice to feel no consequences for his betrayal. Nice to think he was getting away with it. Enjoy it while it lasts. Desmond, because the clock is ticking. Sunday came, and I played my part again. Church with Gloria. Dinner at her house. Smiled through every insult. Nodded at every criticism. Brianna, you look tired. Are you sleeping well? Brianna, these rolls are a little dense. Did you use the right recipe? Brianna, Zoe told me she misses you when you work at night. Poor baby. Every comment was a knife, and every knife I tucked away in my memory. Documentation, evidence of this woman's campaign against me. Meanwhile, my team was working. Patricia met with attorney Veronica Shaw on Sunday afternoon. Called me that evening with good news. She is taking your case, pro bono. She said, and I quote, "This is exactly the kind of case that made me become a family lawyer. Some grandmother using the system to steal children from a good mother, not on my watch." Tamara called next. I flagged the incoming report. When Gloria's friend tries to file it tomorrow, it is going to get redirected. A real investigator will be assigned. Someone honest. Someone who cannot be bought. Everything was falling into place. Monday came. The day Gloria planned to file her fake CPS report. I went to work like normal. But inside, I was counting down the hours. Patricia texted me at noon. Report filed. Assigned to investigator named Monica Williams. Tamara says she is solid. Visit scheduled for Wednesday. Wednesday. 2 days to prepare. I spent Monday and Tuesday doing exactly what Patricia told me. I documented everything. I walked through my house with my phone recording. Here is the living room, clean, organized. Family photos on every wall. Here is the kitchen, refrigerator full of food, fresh fruit in the bowl, meal prep containers for the week because I plan ahead like any working mother does. Here is Zoe's room, bed made, toys in their bins, books organized on shelves, art projects she made at school hanging on the walls. Here is Isaiah's room, crib clean, stuffed animals arranged just how he likes them, nightlight plugged in because he is scared of the dark. Here is the bathroom, bathtub with non-slip mat for safety, child-proof cabinets, training potty for Isaiah, everything a home with young children should have. I recorded it all, time-stamped everything, created a digital file of proof that my home was not just adequate, it was loving, it was safe, it was exactly what my children needed. Wednesday morning, I called in sick to work. First time in years, but this was more important than any shift. I had the kids dressed and fed by 8, house spotless, documentation folder ready. I was prepared for war. At 9:30, there was a knock on my door. I opened it to find a black woman in her 50s. Professional, kind eyes, but sharp too. You could tell she had seen everything. Could tell she was not easily fooled. Mrs. Mitchell, I am Monica Williams, Child Protective Investigator. I am here regarding a report we received. Please come in, I said calmly. I have been expecting you. She looked surprised. You have, Ms. Williams? I know exactly why you are here, and I think you should know the full truth before we begin. I led her into my living room, offered her coffee, sat down across from her like this was a business meeting, because it was, the most important meeting of my life. Before you tell me about the report, I said, let me tell you what is really happening. And I told her everything. The folder I found, the 73 pages of manufactured evidence, Gloria's emails to Desmond, the $200,000 payment, the plan to file a fake report through someone inside the agency. Monica Williams listened without interrupting. Her face gave nothing away, but I saw her take notes, saw her pen moving faster and faster as I talked. When I finished, I handed her my own folder. This is my documentation, I said. 6 years of financial records showing I am the primary provider for this family. My children's medical records showing every checkup, every vaccination on schedule. School records showing excellent attendance and performance. Videos I took this week showing the actual state of my home, not the staged photos Gloria was planning to submit. Monica took the folder, flipped through it slowly. Mrs. Mitchell, she said finally, in 15 years of doing this job, I have never had someone present a counter case during the initial visit. I am a pediatric nurse practitioner, I said. I work with children every day. I know what neglect looks like. I know what abuse looks like. And I know my home is neither of those things. But I also know how the system can be manipulated by people with money and connections. You are alleging that this report was filed fraudulently. I am not alleging, I am proving. I pulled out my phone and showed her the emails, the ones between Gloria and Desmond, the ones discussing the plan. Monica read them. Her expression finally changed. I saw anger flash across her face, real righteous anger. Mrs. Mitchell, if what you are showing me is accurate, this is a serious crime. Filing a false CPS report, attempting to corrupt a state investigation. These are felonies. I know, I said, and I am prepared to cooperate fully with any investigation. But right now, my concern is my children. I need to make sure this rigged process cannot be used to take them from me. Monica closed the folder, looked me directly in the eyes. Let me be very clear about something. I was assigned this case because someone at the agency flagged it as suspicious. I do not know who filed the original report, but I know it did not go through normal channels. She leaned forward. I'm going to conduct a full and fair investigation. I'm going to interview you, your husband, and anyone else relevant. I'm going to assess this home and these children based on facts, not on manufactured evidence. That is all I'm asking for. A fair evaluation. You will get one. But Mrs. Mitchell, if your husband and mother-in-law have done what you are describing, they need to face consequences. Not just for you, but for every family that could be hurt by people who abuse the system this way. I nodded. I understand. And when the time is right, I intend to make sure they do. Monica spent the next 2 hours in my home. She talked to Zoe and Isaiah, watched them play, watched how they interacted with me, saw Isaiah run to me crying when he bumped his knee, saw me comfort him naturally, instinctively, like any mother does. She inspected every room, opened the refrigerator, checked the cabinets, looked at the children's bedrooms, asked me questions about their routines, their health, their education. At the end, she sat back down at my kitchen table. Mrs. Mitchell, I want you to know that based on my assessment today, I see no evidence of neglect or abuse in this home. Your children are healthy, happy, and clearly bonded with you. Your home is clean and safe. You are a fit mother. I exhaled for the first time in hours. However, she continued, my investigation is not complete. I still need to interview your husband, and I will need to look into the allegations you have made about the filing of this report. I understand, but will my children be safe in the meantime? There is no reason to remove them based on what I have seen today. This case will remain open for now, but I will not be recommending any emergency action. When Monica Williams left, I stood in my doorway and watched her car drive away. Then I closed the door, sat down on my couch, and cried. Not sad tears, relief tears, victory tears. Gloria's trap had failed. Her rigged investigation had been intercepted. Her fake evidence had been exposed. And somewhere in that agency, her friend was about to face very serious questions. Phase 1 complete. But I was not done yet. Not even close. That evening, Desmond came home acting strange, nervous, checking his phone constantly. I knew why. He was waiting to hear from his mother, waiting to find out if the CPS visit had destroyed me. How was your day, babe? He asked, trying to sound casual. Fine. Quiet. Stayed home with the kids. How was yours? Fine, normal. Nothing special. Nothing special. Your mother filed a fake abuse report against me, but sure. Nothing special. That is nice, I said. Dinner is ready. Let me fix you a plate. I served him dinner like the devoted wife he thought he was getting rid of. I smiled. I cleaned up. I put the children to bed. And later that night, while he slept, I went through his phone. He thought he was so clever. He had a passcode. But I knew all his passcodes. I had been memorizing them for years, just in case. My mama taught me that. I found the text thread with Gloria. Gloria, what happened? My friend says the investigator assigned was not the one we arranged. Something went wrong. Desmond, I do not know, Ma. Brianna seems normal, acting like nothing happened. Gloria, maybe they have not done the visit yet. Stay calm. Stick to the plan. Desmond, what if it does not work? Gloria, it will work. Trust me. That woman is not smart enough to see this coming. Not smart enough. After everything I had built, everything I had accomplished, everything I had paid for, she still thought I was not smart enough. I took screenshots of the entire conversation, added them to my evidence folder. Then I put the phone back exactly where I found it, crawled into bed beside my husband, and stared at the ceiling until morning. Not smart enough, Gloria watched me prove you wrong. The meeting with attorney Veronica Shaw changed everything. Her office was in one of those glass towers downtown, the kind of building I used to drive past and wonder who worked there, what kind of people had offices with that view. Now, I was sitting in one of those offices looking out at the city, about to find out just how badly I had been betrayed. Attorney Shaw was exactly what Patricia described. Late 50s, silver locks pulled back from her face, reading glasses perched on her chin, the kind of presence that filled a room. You could tell she had won a lot of battles, could tell she had saved a lot of people. Brianna, she said, shaking my hand, Patricia has told me your story, but I want to hear it from you. Start at the beginning. So I told her everything, from the day I met Desmond to the folder I found on his laptop, the Sunday dinners, the insults, the exhaustion, the discovery, the fake CPS visit, all of it. She listened without interrupting, took notes, asked occasional questions. When I finished, she sat back and looked at me with something like respect. You have done remarkable work already. The documentation, the counter-evidence, the way you handled the CPS investigator. Most people in your situation panic. You strategized. I had good people helping me. Good people help when you ask for help. Knowing when to ask is its own skill. She opened a folder on her desk. Now, let me show you what my investigator found. She had hired a forensic accountant, someone who specialized in divorce cases with hidden assets and financial fraud. What they uncovered made my stomach turn. Let us start with your household finances, Attorney Shaw said. You told Patricia that you pay for everything, that Desmond contributes maybe $1,500 a month. That is what I thought. That is what he told me. The reality is worse. She slid a spreadsheet across the desk. Over the 6 years of your marriage, you have deposited $540,000 into your joint household account. Desmond has deposited approximately $90,000. I stared at the numbers. That is less than I estimated. It gets worse. Of the money Desmond did deposit, approximately $28,000 was withdrawn in cash over the past 2 years. We traced as much as we could. Cash is hard to follow, but we found ATM withdrawals near certain locations, expensive restaurants, hotels, jewelry stores. Keisha. He was spending our money on Keisha. Additionally, Attorney Shaw continued, Desmond has 3 credit cards that you did not know about. Combined balance $32,000. All in his name. All cash advances and purchases that don't appear in your household spending. $32,000 in debt. We are in debt, and I did not even know. You are not in debt. He is. These cards are in his name only, not joint accounts. You are not liable for them. Small comfort, but comfort nonetheless. Now let us talk about Gloria. Attorney Shaw pulled out another document. Desmond's mother has been sending him money for the past 3 years, roughly $45,000 in total. Small amounts at first, a few hundred here and there, but over the past year the amounts increased significantly. She was funding his secret life. Exactly. And there is more. She showed me a bank statement I did not recognize. Desmond opened a personal savings account 18 months ago. Current balance $18,000. His mother has been depositing money directly into this account. He has been hiding it from you. $18,000. Hidden. While I worked double shifts and worried about making ends meet. The $200,000 check, I said. The one she promised him for the custody case. Is that real? Very real. She has the funds. Her late husband's life insurance combined with investments left her with over $400,000. She has been living off the interest and the principal for a decade, and she is willing to spend half of it to take my children. She is willing to spend half of it to control her son's life. Your children are just the means to that end. Attorney Shaw closed the folder and looked at me directly. Brianna, here is what I want you to understand. You have been the sole provider for your family for 6 years. You paid the mortgage. You paid the child care. You paid the utilities, the groceries, the car notes, everything. Meanwhile, your husband was hiding money, building debt, and carrying on an affair funded by his mother. What does that mean for the divorce? It means Gloria's entire case against you is built on a lie. She is claiming you are an unfit mother because you work too much. But the reason you work is because your husband does not contribute. You are not neglecting your children. You are supporting them. Alone. She leaned forward. And the money question works in your favor too. You put $60,000 down on that house, your inheritance, your savings. We can prove it came from your accounts before the marriage. That is separate property. But the deed is in both our names. Yes, and that complicates things. Georgia is an equitable distribution state. But equitable does not mean equal. It means fair. And fair takes into account who contributed what. She pulled out another document. I had my investigator pull your mortgage records. 6 years of payments. Every single one came from your personal account. Not the joint account. Not Desmond's account. Yours. I did not trust joint accounts for the big stuff. My mama taught me that. Your mama is a wise woman. Because what you have created is a paper trail. Irrefutable proof that you funded this family while Desmond contributed almost nothing. I sat with that for a moment. 6 years, $540,000. And he was going to take my children and my house while giving it all to a woman named Keisha. What about Keisha? I asked. What do we know about her? Attorney. Shaw smiled slightly. Ah, yes. Miss Keisha Williams, 29 years old, works part-time at a daycare, lives with her mother, has been seeing your husband for approximately 14 months. 14 months. Over a year. While I was working myself sick, this man was building a whole other relationship. She believes she is in love, Attorney Shaw continued. My investigator spoke to some of her friends. Keisha thinks Desmond is trapped in an unhappy marriage with a wife who neglects him. She thinks she's rescuing him. She thinks she is going to be my children's stepmother. That is what Desmond has told her. He promised her that once the custody case was won, they would move into the house together. Your house, with your children. The audacity, the absolute audacity of these people. What do we do now? I asked. Now we prepare for war. Attorney Shaw stood up and walked to her window. Gloria is going to push forward with her custody case. The CPS report failed, but she has other cards to play. Church witnesses, that fake evaluator, Desmond's testimony about your fitness as a mother. And we counter with what? Everything. The financial records, the affair, the bribery, the fraud. She turned to face me. Brianna, by the time I am done presenting your case, no judge in the state will give Desmond so much as supervised visitation without a fight. And Gloria, she will be lucky if she is not facing criminal charges. Criminal charges. Filing a false CPS report is a crime. Bribing a state employee to mishandle an investigation is a crime. Paying someone to pursue fraudulent custody claims is a crime. She smiled. Gloria Mitchell fancies herself a prayer warrior. She is about to find out what happens when you go to war with the wrong woman. I felt something I had not felt in weeks. Hope. Real genuine hope. There is one more thing, Attorney Shaw said, and this is important. Do not confront Desmond yet. Do not let him know you are building a case. The longer they think they are winning, the more evidence they will create against themselves. So I just keep pretending. For now, can you do that? I thought about my children, thought about Zoe's smile and Isaiah's laugh, thought about what I was willing to endure to protect them. For them, I can do anything. Good, because the next few weeks are going to be difficult. Gloria is going to escalate. Desmond is going to lie. They are going to try everything to break you. Let them try. Attorney Shaw nodded approvingly. That is exactly what I wanted to hear. Go home, hug your babies, and remember, you are not alone in this fight. We have your back. I left her office feeling like a different person than the one who walked in. The evidence was overwhelming. The truth was on my side, and I had an army of women ready to help me win. Gloria Mitchell thought she was testing my fitness as a mother. She was about to find out she was testing the wrong woman. 2 weeks passed. 2 weeks of pretending. 2 weeks of smiling at Desmond while I documented his lies. 2 weeks of sitting at Gloria's table while she sharpened her knives against me. But something had changed. I was no longer the woman being hunted. I was the hunter waiting for my moment. It came on a Sunday. Another mandatory dinner at Gloria's house, another performance of the happy family for anyone watching. Except this time Gloria pushed too far. And I was done being pushed. It started the same as always. Desmond driving, barely talking to me. Kids in the back seat excited to see Grandma. Me rehearsing my smiles, planning my responses, preparing to absorb whatever insults came my way. But something felt different when we arrived. The house was fuller than usual. More cars in the driveway. When we walked in, I saw church members everywhere. Gloria had invited an audience. "There is my family," Gloria sang out, swooping down on the children like always. Come in, come in. We are having a special family gathering today." I looked at Desmond. He would not meet my eyes. He knew something I did not. We settled into the living room. Gloria at the center like a queen holding court. Church mothers surrounding her, nodding at everything she said. Desmond sat beside his mother playing the devoted son. And me, I sat on the other side of the room. Invisible. Unwanted. The outsider in my own family. Gloria started talking, loud enough for everyone to hear, pointed enough that no one could miss her meaning. "You know, I have been so worried about my grandbabies lately. Their mother works so much. Those poor children are practically raising themselves." The church mothers made sympathetic sounds, heads shaking, tongues clicking. "It is not natural," Gloria continued. "A mother should be home with her children. That is what the Bible teaches. A woman's place is in the home, caring for her family." I felt eyes on me, judging, condemning, buying every word Gloria sold them. My Desmond tries so hard, works himself to the bone trying to provide. But that wife of his, she just cannot seem to get her priorities straight. That was it. That was the line. I stood up. The room went quiet. "Gloria," I said, my voice calm, steady. "May I say something?" She looked surprised. I never spoke up at these gatherings, never challenged her narrative. She smiled, thinking she had already won. "Of course, dear. We are all family here. You are right about one thing. I do work a lot. I work 12-hour shifts at the hospital saving children's lives. I work overtime when it's available. I work until my body aches and my eyes blur." I paused, looked around the room, made sure everyone was listening. "But let me ask you something, Gloria. Do you know why I work so much?" Her smile flickered. "Because you prioritize your career over your family. We have discussed this." "No, I work so much because I pay for everything. The mortgage, the utilities, the daycare, the groceries, the car payments. Every single bill that keeps a roof over my children's heads comes from my account." The room was silent now. No one expected this. "Your son," I continued, "contributes maybe $1,500 a month, sometimes less, sometimes nothing at all. I have the bank records to prove it. 6 years of records showing exactly who has been funding this family." Gloria's face hardened. "Desmond works hard. He is building his business." "What business?" "Gloria, name one client. Name one deal he has closed. Name $1 he has brought in from this business you keep talking about." Desmond stood up. "Bree, what are you doing? This is not the time." "No, Desmond, this is exactly the time. Because your mother has been sitting in this room telling everyone I'm a bad mother, telling everyone I neglect my children. Meanwhile, she knows exactly who pays for those children. She knows exactly who provides for this family. And it is not you." I turned back to Gloria. "You called CPS on me. Did you think I would not find out?" The church mothers gasped. Gloria's face went pale. "You filed a fake report? You bribed someone at the agency to rig the investigation. You have been documenting my every move for 2 years, building a case to take my children." "That is ridiculous," Gloria sputtered. "I would never—" "You would. You did. I have the emails, Gloria. The ones between you and Desmond. The ones planning exactly how to destroy me. The ones discussing how Keisha is going to replace me. Desmond's face went white. How do I know about Keisha? Your girlfriend. The one you have been spending my money on for 14 months. The one your mother picked out because she decided I was not good enough for her son. The room erupted, church mothers whispering, some of them looking at Gloria differently now. The mask was slipping. You have been planning this for years, I said, my voice rising, documenting my exhaustion like it was neglect when the reason I was exhausted was because your son does not work. Taking pictures of my messy house when the reason it was messy was because I had just worked a 16-hour shift while Desmond sat on his couch. I pointed at Gloria directly. You want to talk about who is fit to raise children? Let us talk about it. I have raised 2 happy, healthy, loved children while working full-time and funding this entire family alone. What have you done? Sat in your house spending your dead husband's money and judging everyone else. Gloria stood up now, her composure cracking. How dare you speak to me like that in my own house? How dare you, Gloria? How dare you try to take my children? How dare you pay my husband to betray me? How dare you file false reports and bribe investigators and think you would get away with it? I grabbed my purse, walked to where the children were playing in the other room, took their hands. Zoe, Isaiah, we are leaving. Brianna, you cannot just take my grandbabies, Gloria started. They are not your grandbabies. They are my children. And until a court says otherwise, I am their mother. I decide where they go. I decide who they see. And right now, I am deciding they do not need to be in a house with people who are trying to tear their family apart. I walked toward the door. Desmond grabbed my arm. Bree, wait. Let us talk about this. We can work this out. I looked at his hand on my arm. The same hand that signed those emails. The same hand that took money from his mother to destroy me. The same hand that probably touched Keisha last night. Take your hand off me. He did not move. Desmond, take your hand off me right now, or the next conversation we have will be with police present. He let go like I had burned him. I walked out that door with my children, put them in the car, drove away from that house without looking back. My phone started buzzing immediately. Desmond, Gloria, numbers I did not recognize. I ignored them all. Instead, I called Attorney Shaw. They know, I said when she answered. I confronted them. It is over. They know I know everything. Good, she said. Then we do not have to pretend anymore. Come to my office first thing tomorrow. We file the divorce petition and request an emergency custody hearing. They are going to fight. Let them. We are ready. I hung up and looked in my rearview mirror. Zoe was staring out the window, quiet. Isaiah had fallen asleep, unaware of the storm around him. Mommy, Zoe said softly, is Grandma mad at you? Yes, baby. Grandma is mad. Why? How do you explain adult betrayal to a 5-year-old? How do you tell your daughter that her grandmother tried to take her away from her mother? Sometimes grown-ups disagree about things, I said carefully. Grandma and Mommy do not agree right now. But no matter what, I love you and your brother more than anything in the world, and I will always be here, always. Zoe nodded, processing. Then she said something that broke my heart and filled it at the same time. I know, Mommy. You are always here. You never leave. Out of the mouths of babes. My 5-year-old knew who showed up. She knew who tucked her in at night. She knew who was really there. And soon a judge would know too. When I got home, I changed the locks, called a locksmith, and had every lock in the house replaced within 2 hours. Desmond's keys would not work anymore. He showed up around midnight, pounding on the door, calling my name. Bri, let me in. This is my house too. I called him from inside. Desmond, I am going to say this once. You do not live here anymore. If you try to enter this house, I will call the police. If you break a window, I will have you arrested. You will receive divorce papers tomorrow. Until then, go stay with your mother. Or with Keisha. I do not care where you go, but you are not coming in here. You cannot do this. I have rights. Then get a lawyer and fight for them. But tonight you are not stepping foot inside. Your choice. He pounded on the door for another 10 minutes, screamed, cried, called me every name he could think of. I sat in my living room watching my security camera, completely calm. Eventually he gave up, drove away, probably to Gloria's house to plan his next move. That was fine. Let him plan. I had already won the first battle. Tomorrow, the real war would begin, and I was ready for it. The next 2 weeks were chaos. Beautiful, controlled, strategic chaos. Attorney Shaw filed my divorce petition the morning after the confrontation. Grounds: adultery, financial abandonment, and fraud. We requested an emergency custody hearing, citing the false CPS report and Gloria's pattern of harassment. Desmond's response came 3 days later. He filed his own custody petition through a lawyer Gloria paid for. The audacity of it still amazes me. This man who had contributed nothing, who had been caught lying, who had been exposed in front of his entire church community, still thought he deserved my children. His petition claimed I was emotionally unstable, said I had a violent outburst at a family gathering, said the children were not safe with me. The family gathering, my confrontation at Gloria's house. They tried to turn my moment of standing up for myself into evidence of instability. Attorney Shaw laughed when she read it. Let them claim you had an outburst. We have 20 witnesses who heard Gloria admit she called CPS on you. 20 witnesses who heard you expose the entire scheme. They are trying to rewrite history, but too many people saw the truth. The court date was set for 2 weeks out. Emergency hearing. Both sides would present their cases. A judge would decide what happened to my children. Those 2 weeks were the longest of my life. Every day felt like walking through water. Time moved wrong. I would be making breakfast and suddenly realize an hour had passed. I would be reading to the kids and forget what page we were on. But I kept moving, kept functioning, kept fighting. Attorney Shaw prepped me like I was going to trial for my life. Because in a way I was. They are going to attack your character, she warned me during one of our sessions. They are going to bring up every time you worked late, every time the house was messy, every moment of exhaustion. They are going to paint you as a woman who cares more about her career than her children. And how do we counter that? With the truth. You worked because you had to. Your husband did not provide. You were not choosing career over family. You were choosing survival for your family. We practiced my testimony over and over until I could recite it in my sleep. Why did you work so many hours, Mrs. Mitchell? Because my husband did not contribute financially. I was the sole provider for our household. I worked to keep a roof over my children's heads and food on their table. Were there times when the house was not perfectly clean? Yes, there were times when I had worked a 12-hour shift and came home to find that nothing had been done because my husband was at his mother's house or with his girlfriend. On those nights, I prioritized feeding my children and putting them to bed over washing dishes. Do you consider yourself a good mother? I consider myself a mother who has done everything in her power to provide for her children despite having no support from their father. I have made sacrifices. I have worked through exhaustion. I have put their needs before my own every single day. If that makes me a good mother, then yes, I am a good mother. Nikki came over every night that week, made sure I ate, made sure I slept, made sure I did not spiral into anxiety. You have got this, she kept telling me. You have the evidence. You have the truth. You have a legendary lawyer. Gloria has nothing but lies and money, and the money is running out. It was true. The forensic accountant had discovered that Gloria's funds were not as deep as she pretended. That $200,000 check she promised Desmond, it would have cleaned out most of her savings. She was betting everything on this custody case. Patricia called with updates from the legal world. The CPS investigation into the false report was still ongoing. Gloria's friend at the agency had been placed on administrative leave. Criminal charges were being considered. She might actually go to jail for this, Patricia said. Not prison, probably, but charges for filing a false report and bribing a government employee. This is serious. Good, I said, and I meant it. Gloria had tried to use a system designed to protect children as a weapon to steal mine. She deserved whatever consequences came her way. Tamara kept me informed about the CPS side. Monica Williams, the investigator who came to my house, had submitted her report. It was glowing. She wrote that your home was one of the cleanest and most organized she has seen, Tamara told me. She noted that your children were healthy, happy, and clearly bonded with you. She recommended closing the case with no findings of neglect or abuse. One more piece of evidence for our side. One more nail in Gloria's coffin. The hardest part of those 2 weeks was the kids. Zoe knew something was wrong. She was too smart not to notice that Daddy was not coming home, that Mommy was on the phone with lawyers all the time, that the house felt different. Mommy, when is Daddy coming back? I tried to explain in terms she could understand. Mommy and Daddy are having some grown-up disagreements right now. Daddy is staying somewhere else while we figure things out. Is it because you yelled at Grandma? Children remember everything. Mommy did speak strongly to Grandma, but the disagreement started before that. It is complicated, baby. What is important is that I love you and your brother, and that will never change. Isaiah was too young to understand. He just knew Mama was there. Mama held him. Mama sang the songs he liked. That was enough for him. I cherished every moment with them during those 2 weeks. Read extra stories, gave extra hugs, let them stay up a little past bedtime just to have more time together. Because there was a chance, small but real, that the judge could rule against me, that Gloria's lies could be more convincing than my truth, that Desmond's lawyer could twist the narrative enough to create doubt. Attorney Shaw assured me the odds were in our favor, but odds are not guarantees. And I had learned the hard way that the world does not always reward the good guys. The night before the hearing, I could not sleep. I sat in Zoe's room watching her breathe, then Isaiah's room watching him clutch his stuffed dinosaur. These children, these perfect, innocent children, who had no idea their lives might change forever tomorrow. I prayed. First time in weeks I had really prayed. Not the rote prayers I said at church. Real desperate from the soul prayers. God, I do not know if you are listening. I do not know if I have any right to ask for anything, but please, please let them see the truth. Please protect my children. Please let me keep them. I stayed up until dawn, showered, dressed in the outfit Attorney Shaw had approved. Professional but warm, navy blue dress, pearl earrings my mother gave me, hair pulled back neatly. I looked at myself in the mirror. The woman staring back looked tired but determined, scared but strong. You can do this, I told her. You have to do this. For them. The doorbell rang. Nikki there to drive me to the courthouse. Patricia would meet us there with Attorney Shaw. Tamara was on standby in case we needed her testimony. My mama had flown in the night before. She was staying with the children while I went to court. When I hugged her goodbye, she held me tight and whispered in my ear, "You are my daughter. You are strong. You are smart. You are a good mother. Go show them who you are." I walked out of my house, got in Nikki's car, and drove toward the most important battle of my life. Gloria thought she was going to win today. She thought her money and her lies and her church lady's smile would carry her through. She was about to find out what happens when you test a mother who has nothing left to lose. The test was coming, and only one of us was going to pass. The courthouse smelled like old paper and anxiety. I had been in hospitals during emergencies, seen trauma cases come through the doors, watched families fall apart in waiting rooms. But nothing prepared me for the cold, institutional fear of walking into family court to fight for my children. Nikki squeezed my hand as we walked through security. Patricia was already inside with Attorney Shaw setting up at our table. The courtroom was smaller than I expected. Wood paneling, hard benches, a raised platform where the judge would sit and decide my fate. And there they were, on the other side of the room, Desmond in a suit I had never seen before. Gloria paid for it, no doubt. He looked thin, tired, good. Let him suffer. Gloria herself dressed in her Sunday best, cream-colored suit, pearl necklace, hair perfectly styled. She looked like a grandmother from a magazine advertisement, the kind of woman you would trust to watch your children. She was a snake in church clothes. But today, everyone would see what she really was. Their lawyer was a man I did not recognize, young, hungry, probably cheap. Gloria's money was running out, and it showed. Behind them sat a few church members, witnesses, I assumed, people Gloria had convinced to testify against me. I recognized Sister Dorothy and Brother James, people who barely knew me but had apparently seen enough to have opinions. Our side was smaller. Attorney Shaw, Patricia, Nikki sitting in the gallery for moral support, Tamara on standby outside in case we needed her testimony about the CPS situation. Quality over quantity. That was what Attorney Shaw had said. We did not need numbers. We had truth. The bailiff called the court to order. Everyone stood as Judge Evelyn Carter entered. I had researched her after Attorney Shaw told me who we drew. 22 years on the family court bench, known for being thorough, fair, no tolerance for games or manipulation. A black woman who had seen everything and could not be fooled. If anyone would see through Gloria's act, it was her. Be seated, Judge Carter said. She shuffled some papers, put on her reading glasses, and looked out at us. This is an emergency custody hearing in the matter of Mitchell versus Mitchell. I have reviewed the filings from both parties. Before we proceed, I want to make something clear. She looked directly at both tables. This is about what is best for the children, not about winning or losing, not about punishing each other. If anyone in this courtroom thinks they are here for any other reason, you can leave now. No one moved. Good. Let us begin. Petitioner, you may present your case. Desmond's lawyer stood up. His name was Gregory something. I had already forgotten it. Your Honor, my client, Desmond Mitchell, is seeking custody of his two minor children, Zoe and Isaiah. He believes, and we will demonstrate that their mother, Brianna Mitchell, is unable to provide a stable home environment due to her demanding work schedule and emotional instability. He walked toward the center of the room holding a folder. Gloria's folder. I recognized it. 73 pages of lies. We have documented evidence spanning 2 years, photographs showing the condition of the home, witness statements from family members and community members, a professional evaluation from a licensed family therapist. He presented the photos, the same ones I had seen on Desmond's laptop, my kitchen after a double shift, my living room with toys scattered, Isaiah's room with an unmade bed. As you can see, Your Honor, this home is frequently in a state of disarray, not suitable for young children. Attorney Shaw did not object. She had told me she would let them present first, let them show all their cards, then demolish them. Gregory called his first witness, Sister Dorothy from church. Sister Dorothy, how long have you known the Mitchell family? About 5 years. We attend the same church. And in that time, have you observed Mrs. Mitchell's behavior as a mother? Sister Dorothy shifted uncomfortably. She did not look at me. I have seen some things that concerned me, such as, well, she always looks tired at church, distracted. Sometimes the children's clothes are not as neat as they could be, and she does not interact much with the other mothers, keeps to herself. Gregory nodded like this was damning evidence. So you would say she seems disconnected from her family. I would say she seems overwhelmed, like maybe she has too much on her plate. Attorney Shaw made a note. That answer had actually helped us. Overwhelmed was not unfit. Overwhelmed was human. Gregory called Brother James next. Similar questions, similar vague answers about me seeming tired and distant. Then he called Gloria. She walked to the witness stand like she was walking to receive an award. sat down, smiled at the judge, the perfect grandmother. Mrs. Mitchell, please tell the court about your concerns for your grandchildren. Gloria took a deep breath, dabbed at her eyes with a handkerchief. The performance had begun. Your Honor, I love those children more than anything in this world. They are my only grandchildren, my son's only children, and I have watched for years as their mother neglected them. Can you be more specific? She works constantly, 12-hour shifts, sometimes more. Those babies are in daycare from sunrise to sunset. They barely see their mother, and when she is home, she is too tired to engage with them properly. And your son, what has he told you about the situation? Desmond has tried so hard to hold that family together, but Brianna, she is focused on her career. She does not prioritize her children. She does not prioritize her husband. She lets everything fall apart while she chases her ambition. I watched the judge's face, impossible to read. She was taking notes, listening carefully. Mrs. Mitchell, tell us about the incident at your home 2 weeks ago. Gloria's face hardened. Brianna came to a family gathering and attacked me verbally, in front of everyone. She accused me of terrible things, called me names. It was frightening. I thought she might become physical. Were there witnesses to this incident? The entire room, 20 or 30 people. They all saw her lose control. Gregory smiled. No further questions. Now it was Attorney Shaw's turn. She stood slowly, walked toward Gloria like a lion approaching prey. Mrs. Mitchell, you testified that Brianna works constantly. Do you know why she works so much? Gloria blinked. Because she prioritizes her career over her family. That is your interpretation. Let me ask a different way. Do you know who pays the mortgage on the Mitchell family home? I assume they share expenses like any married couple. You assume, but you do not know. Attorney Shaw picked up a document. I have here 6 years of bank records showing that every single mortgage payment totaling over $170,000 came from Brianna Mitchell's personal account. Did you know that? Gloria's smile flickered. Financial arrangements are between a husband and wife. And did you know that your son has contributed an average of only $1,500 per month to the household? Sometimes less, sometimes nothing at all. Desmond works very hard. At what Mrs. Mitchell's? Can you name a single client of his consulting business? A single contract he has completed? Gloria was silent. Let me ask about something else. You filed a report with Child Protective Services against your daughter-in-law. Is that correct? Gloria went pale. I was concerned about the children. The report was filed anonymously. How did you file it anonymously while being concerned? I asked a friend to help me. A friend who works at CPS. A friend who you paid $3,000 to ensure the investigation was handled by a sympathetic evaluator. The courtroom stirred. Judge Carter's eyes narrowed. That is not. I did not. Attorney Shaw pulled out another document. I have bank records showing a transfer of $3,000 from your account to an employee of Child Protective Services 2 days before the report was filed. That employee has since been placed on administrative leave, pending a criminal investigation. Gloria's hands were shaking now. The mask was crumbling. And the evaluator you hired. Dr. Patricia Simmons. Did you pay her as well? She is a professional. I paid for her professional services. $5,000 for an evaluation she conducted without ever meeting Brianna Mitchell, without ever visiting the home, an evaluation based entirely on information you provided. She is a licensed therapist. She is a fraud, and so is your entire case against your daughter-in-law. Attorney Shaw returned to her table and picked up a thick folder. Your Honor, I would like to present evidence of a coordinated scheme to fraudulently obtain custody of the Mitchell children. This folder contains email correspondence between Gloria Mitchell and her son Desmond, documenting 2 years of planning to manufacture evidence against Brianna Mitchell. She handed copies to the judge and to opposing counsel. It contains evidence of bribery, Gloria Mitchell offered her son $200,000 to pursue this custody case and to leave his wife. It contains evidence of fraud. The CPS report, the paid evaluator, the manufactured witness statements. And it contains evidence of an extramarital affair. Desmond Mitchell has been seeing another woman for 14 months, funded by money from his mother. Gregory stood up. Your Honor, this is outrageous. This evidence was obtained illegally. It was obtained from a laptop in the marital home, Attorney Shaw countered. Brianna Mitchell had every right to access a shared computer in her own house. Every document is legally admissible. Judge Carter held up her hand. I will review this evidence, continued Counselor. Attorney Shaw called me to the stand. I walked forward, sat down, looked at the judge. This was my moment. Everything I had been through came down to this. State your name for the record. Brianna Cole Mitchell. Mrs. Mitchell, tell the court why you work 12-hour shifts. Because I'm a pediatric nurse practitioner. I care for sick children. And because my husband does not contribute financially to our household. If I do not work, my children do not eat. It is that simple. And during all those hours you work, who cares for your children? A licensed daycare facility, the same one used by doctors, nurses, and other professionals at my hospital. My children receive excellent care while I am saving lives. Your mother-in-law characterized you as neglectful. How do you respond? I respond with facts. My children have never missed a doctor's appointment. They are fully vaccinated. Zoe is reading above grade level. Isaiah is meeting all developmental milestones. I read to them every night. I make their meals from scratch when I can. I attend every parent-teacher conference, every school event, everything, despite working full-time and receiving no help from their father. And the incident at your mother-in-law's home? I discovered that my husband and his mother had been planning to steal my children using fake reports and bribed officials. I confronted them. Yes, I raised my voice. Yes, I was angry. Any mother would be angry to discover that the people who were supposed to be her family were plotting against her. I looked directly at Gloria. I did not threaten anyone. I did not touch anyone. I simply told the truth. If telling the truth makes me unstable, then I am guilty. But I think it makes me strong. Attorney Shaw nodded. Your Honor, I would like to call one more witness. Monica Williams, the CPS investigator who actually visited the Mitchell home. Monica Williams took the stand. Professional, credible, unimpeachable. Ms. Williams, what were your findings when you investigated the Mitchell home? I found a clean, safe, loving environment. The children were healthy and happy. They showed strong bonds with their mother. I found no evidence of neglect or abuse. I recommended closing the case with no action. And the report that initiated your investigation? Monica looked at Gloria with barely concealed contempt. The report was filed through irregular channels. It bypassed normal procedures and was assigned to a specific investigator who has since been found to have a financial relationship with the reporting party. In my 15 years with the agency, I have never seen a more blatant attempt to weaponize Child Protective Services. Judge Carter had heard enough. She called for a brief recess, 20 minutes of waiting while a judge decided whether I could keep my children. Nikki hugged me. Patricia squeezed my hand. Attorney Shaw looked confident, but lawyers always look confident. I just prayed, silently, desperately, please let her see the truth. The bailiff called us back. Everyone took their seats. Judge Carter looked at us all for a long moment. Then she began to speak. Judge Evelyn Carter removed her glasses, set them on the bench, looked out at the courtroom with an expression I could not read. I have been on this bench for 22 years. I have seen custody battles. I have seen messy divorces. I have seen parents behave badly in the name of protecting their children. She paused. But I have never in 2 decades of family law seen anything as calculated, as malicious, and as thoroughly documented as what Gloria Mitchell orchestrated against her daughter-in-law. Gloria gasped. Desmond's lawyer shifted uncomfortably. Let me be clear about what I have observed in this courtroom today. The petitioner Desmond Mitchell presented photographs of a slightly messy home. He presented witnesses who testified that his wife seemed tired and distracted. He presented an evaluation from a professional who never actually evaluated the subject. Judge Carter picked up Gloria's folder. 73 pages of lies. This document represents not evidence of an unfit mother, but evidence of a disturbed grandmother who spent 2 years manufacturing a case against a woman whose only crime was working hard to support her family. She set the folder down with visible disgust. The respondent, Brianna Mitchell, presented 6 years of financial records, every mortgage payment, every utility bill, every daycare payment, every grocery receipt, all from her account, all from her earnings. The judge looked at Desmond directly. Mr. Mitchell, do you dispute these records? Do you claim to have contributed more than the $1,500 monthly average shown in these statements? Desmond opened his mouth, closed it. His lawyer whispered something. Desmond shook his head. I did not think so. Judge Carter turned to Gloria. Mrs. Mitchell, you filed a false report with Child Protective Services. You bribed a state employee to mishandle the investigation. You paid for a fraudulent professional evaluation. You offered your son $200,000 to pursue this custody case. Is any of that inaccurate? Gloria stood up. Your Honor, I was only trying to protect my grandchildren. That woman works all the time. She neglects them. Sit down, Mrs. Mitchell. Gloria sat. Her lip was trembling. The church lady mask had completely fallen away. You were not trying to protect your grandchildren. You were trying to control your son. You were trying to punish a woman who had the audacity to be independent, successful, and the primary provider for her family. You used the child welfare system as a weapon, and in doing so, you potentially endangered actual children who need those resources. Judge Carter's voice was ice. Your actions are not those of a concerned grandmother. They are the actions of someone who believes their money and their social standing place them above the law. You were wrong. She picked up her pen, began writing on the documents before her. Here is my ruling. In the matter of custody of the minor children, Zoe Mitchell, age 5, and Isaiah Mitchell, age 3. I held my breath. Every muscle in my body tensed. Full legal and physical custody is awarded to the respondent, Brianna Cole Mitchell. The air left my lungs in a rush. I heard Nikki crying behind me. Patricia grabbed my hand, but the judge was not finished. The petitioner, Desmond Mitchell, is granted supervised visitation only, 4 hours per week at a court-approved facility at his own expense. This supervision will continue until such time as Mr. Mitchell demonstrates consistent employment and the ability to provide a stable environment for his children. Desmond slumped in his chair. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. In the matter of the marital residence, the property located at their address, the down payment of $60,000 came from Brianna Mitchell's separate property, specifically an inheritance and personal savings predating the marriage. The mortgage payments over 6 years totaling over $170,000 came exclusively from her personal account. Judge Carter looked at me. While the deed is in both names, the equitable distribution of this asset overwhelmingly favors the respondent. The house is awarded to Brianna Cole Mitchell. Mr. Mitchell has 30 days to remove his personal belongings. I saw Desmond's lawyer whisper urgently. Desmond looked like he was going to be sick. In the matter of financial support, given the significant income disparity between the parties, and given Mr. Mitchell's demonstrated failure to contribute to the household, he is ordered to pay child support in the amount of $800 monthly until the minor children reach 18 years of age. $800 a month. Not much, but it was something. And more importantly, it was acknowledgement that he owed us. In the matter of Gloria Mitchell, Gloria looked up. For the first time, I saw fear in her eyes. Real fear. While you are not a party to this divorce action, your conduct cannot be ignored. You filed a false report with the state agency. You bribed a public employee. You paid for fraudulent evidence to be used in a court proceeding. These are crimes, Mrs. Mitchell, serious crimes. The judge leaned forward. I am referring this matter to the District Attorney's Office for criminal investigation. Additionally, I am issuing a protective order. You are to have no contact with the minor children Zoe and Isaiah Mitchell pending further court review. You may not come within 500 feet of their residence, their school, or their daycare facility. Gloria made a sound, a broken animal sound, like something inside her had shattered. But they are my grandbabies. They are Brianna Mitchell's children. Children you tried to steal from their mother using lies and bribery. You have demonstrated that you cannot be trusted around them. Perhaps in 6 months, if you have completed counseling and shown genuine remorse, we can revisit the matter. Until then, you will stay away. The judge gathered her papers. One final note. For the record, I have reviewed the CPS investigator's report. Monica Williams described the Mitchell home as clean, safe, and loving. She described the children as healthy and happy. She described Brianna Mitchell as a devoted mother who has made significant sacrifices to provide for her family. Judge Carter looked at me. For the first time, her expression softened. Mrs. Mitchell, you are not unfit. You are not neglectful. You are not unstable. You are a mother who has been carrying an impossible burden while being attacked by people who should have been supporting you. Today, that burden gets lighter. She banged her gavel. Court is adjourned. For a moment, I did not move. Could not move. The words echoed in my head. Full custody. The house. Supervised visitation. No contact. We won. We actually won. Then Nikki was there pulling me into a hug. Patricia was crying and laughing at the same time. Attorney Shaw was shaking my hand, saying something about paperwork, but I could not hear her over the rushing in my ears. I looked across the courtroom. Desmond was still sitting there, staring at nothing. His lawyer was packing up quickly, eager to leave. Gloria was crying, mascara running down her face, her perfect church lady image destroyed. I should have felt triumphant. I should have wanted to rub it in, to walk over and tell them exactly what I thought of their scheme. But I did not. I just felt tired and relieved and ready to go home to my children. As we walked out of the courtroom, Gloria grabbed my arm. Her grip was weak, desperate. Please, Brianna, please. Let me see them. They are all I have. They are my only grandchildren. Please. I looked at this woman who had called me unfit, who had paid money to take my children, who had smiled at me every Sunday while plotting my destruction. You should have thought about that before you tried to destroy me, Gloria. You had years to be a good grandmother. You chose to be an enemy instead. Now you have to live with what that choice cost you. I removed her hand from my arm. My lawyer will be in touch about the criminal referral. I suggest you get a good attorney. You are going to need one. I walked out of that courthouse into the afternoon sun. Nikki on one side, Patricia on the other. Attorney Shaw already on her phone, probably moving on to her next case, another woman to save. My phone buzzed. A text from my mama. How did it go, baby? I typed back with shaking fingers. We won. I am coming home. Tell my babies Mama is on her way. Then I got in Nikki's car, put my head back against the seat, and let the tears come. Not sad tears, not even happy tears exactly, just release. Just finally being able to let go of the fear I had been carrying for weeks. It was over. Gloria's test had failed. Her scheme had collapsed. Her money had not been enough to buy my children. And now she had to live with the consequences. The test was supposed to break me. Instead, it broke her. When I walked through my front door that afternoon, my children ran to me like I had been gone for years. Zoe wrapped herself around my legs. Isaiah lifted his arms, screaming, Mama, Mama, until I picked him up and held him against my chest. My mother stood in the kitchen doorway, tears streaming down her face. She did not ask what happened. She could see it in my face. She just nodded and smiled. I knew it, baby. I knew you would win. You come from strong women. We do not break. That night, I tucked my children into their beds in their rooms in my house. I read Zoe 3 stories instead of 1 because she asked, and I could not say no. I sang Isaiah his favorite lullaby twice because he was not ready to let go of my hand. When they were finally asleep, I walked through my home, really looked at it for the first time in weeks. The pictures on the walls, the toys in the corner, the dishes I had washed 1,000 times, the life I had built and almost lost. It was mine now, fully mine. No one could take it from me. The weeks that followed were a blur of paperwork and transitions. Desmond came to collect his things under the watchful eye of a sheriff's deputy. He did not say much, did not try to argue or negotiate, just packed his clothes and his electronics and a few boxes of random stuff and loaded them into his car. Before he left, he stood in the driveway and looked at me. I am sorry, Bree. I know that does not mean anything now, but I am sorry. You are right. It does not mean anything now. He nodded, got in his car, drove away. I heard later that he moved in with Gloria, then moved out when the criminal investigation got serious. Last I heard, he was renting a studio apartment across town, working at an IT help desk trying to rebuild something from the ashes of the life he destroyed. Keisha left him within a week of the court ruling. Turns out she was in love with the man who was going to have a house and money and status. When she found out he had none of those things, she disappeared. I cannot say I blamed her. She was a fool, but she was a fool who recognized a sinking ship. Gloria's downfall was slower but more complete. The criminal investigation moved forward. She was charged with filing a false CPS report bribery of a public official and conspiracy to commit fraud. The district attorney offered a plea deal, 2 years probation, a $50,000 fine, and mandatory counseling. She took it. Of course she took it. The alternative was trial and possible jail time. Gloria Mitchell was many things, but she was not willing to trade her comfortable life for a prison cell. The church found out everything. These things always come out. Someone who was at the custody hearing talked. The story spread through the congregation like wildfire. The woman who had positioned herself as a prayer warrior, a pillar of the community, a devoted grandmother, was exposed as a manipulator who tried to steal children from their mother using lies and bribery. Some people defended her. There are always those who cannot accept that the people they admired are capable of evil, but most turned their backs. Gloria lost her position on the women's ministry board, lost her seat in the front pew, lost the respect she had spent decades cultivating. Last I heard, she barely attended services anymore. When she did, she sat in the back alone. No more church mothers surrounding her. No more whispered consultations after service. Just an old woman who had gambled everything on her scheme and lost it all. Mother Ernestine, the church elder, who had always seen through Gloria's act, called me a few weeks after the ruling. Chili, I just want you to know that not everyone at that church believed what Gloria was selling. Some of us saw you, saw how hard you worked, saw how much you loved those babies, and we are proud of how you handled yourself. Thank you, Mother Ernestine. That means a lot. You come back to service when you are ready. Hold your head high. You do not have anything to be ashamed of. The only shame in that situation belongs to the people who tried to hurt you. I did go back eventually. A few months later, when everything had settled, I walked in with my children sat in a pew toward the middle and worshipped like I had done for years. Gloria was not there that day. But even if she had been, it would not have mattered. I was not afraid of her anymore. I was not afraid of anyone. 6 months after the court ruling, I took stock of my life. My blood pressure was normal for the first time in years. The stress had been killing me slowly, and I had not even realized how much until it was gone. I had lost 15 pounds. Not from dieting, just from not stress eating at midnight, not carrying the weight of a failed marriage on my shoulders. I got promoted at work, charge nurse on the pediatric floor, More responsibility, more money, more recognition for the work I had always done. The house was fully mine. I had repainted the bedroom, got rid of the furniture Desmond had picked out, made it mine in ways I never could when I was trying to accommodate his preferences. Zoe was thriving. First grade, now reading chapter books, making friends sleeping through the night without nightmares. The chaos of the custody battle had faded from her memory, replaced by the stability of a home with one parent who showed up every single day. Isaiah was talking in full sentences, running everywhere, still attached to my hips, still wanting mama for everything, and I would not have it any other way. My sister circle had grown stronger. We had monthly brunches now. Me, Nikki, Patricia, Tamara. Sometimes my mama joined us. Sometimes other women from our lives who needed support. We had become a network passing wisdom and strength to anyone who needed it. Attorney Shaw referred two other women to me, women going through similar situations, women whose mother-in-laws or husbands or families were trying to take their children. I talked to them both, shared my story, told them what I had learned. Document everything. Tell no one who does not need to know. Build your case in silence, and when they think they have won, show them what they were really dealing with. Desmond completed his parenting classes, started his supervised visits, 4 hours a week at a facility that charged him by the hour. He showed up consistently, I will give him that. The children came home from visits with stories about playing games with Daddy and eating snacks. I did not interfere. Whatever Desmond was as a husband, the children still loved their father. I would not take that from them. I would just make sure he never had the power to hurt us again. 1 year after the ruling, I sat on my porch on a Sunday morning. The children were at my mother's house for the weekend. I had the whole day to myself, something that would have seemed impossible a year ago. I thought about Gloria, about her test, about what she thought she was going to prove. She thought I was unfit because I worked, because my house was not always perfect, because I was tired and stressed and stretched too thin. She did not understand that those things made me strong, not weak. Every double shift, every late night, every moment of exhaustion was evidence of my dedication to my children. I was not neglecting them by working. I was providing for them in a way her son never could. Gloria tested me, and the test revealed who we both really were. I was a mother who would do anything for her children, who would work until her body broke, who would fight until her last breath, who would burn down the world to keep them safe. And Gloria was a woman who thought money and manipulation could overcome love. She was wrong. If you are listening to this story and something in it sounds familiar, I want you to hear this. You are not unfit because you work. You are not neglecting your children because your house is messy, or your dinner is late, or your hair is not done. You are not failing because you are tired. You are surviving. You are providing. You are doing the hardest job in the world with no support and constant criticism. The people who judge you do not pay your bills. They do not walk your path. They do not know what it takes to hold everything together when the person who should be your partner is actively working against you. Their opinions do not matter. Their tests do not define you. What defines you is this: are your children fed? Are they safe? Are they loved? Do they know deep in their hearts that their mama will always be there? If you can answer yes to those questions, then you are fit. You are capable. You are enough. My mother-in-law said I was unfit to be a mother. She spent 2 years and $200,000 trying to prove it. She bribed officials, filed false reports, manipulated witnesses, and paid for fake evaluations. And in the end, a judge looked at all her evidence and saw the truth. I was not the problem. I was never the problem. The test was supposed to break me, but I am still standing, still working, still mothering, still here, and Gloria. She lost her grandchildren, her reputation, her money, and her pride. She sits alone in her big empty house, banned from the babies she claimed to be protecting, haunted by the consequences of her own cruelty. The test broke her. Not me. Her. That is my story. That is my testimony. That is the truth about what happens when you come for a black mother's children and think she will not fight back. We fight, we win, we survive, and we tell our story so that the next woman knows she is not alone. You are not alone. I see you, I hear you, I was you, and I promise you will get through this. You will come out the other side. You will look back at the people who tried to destroy you and realize they never had as much power as they thought. You have the power. You have always had it. Now use it. Fight for yourself. Fight for your children. Fight for the life you deserve. And when they try to test you, show them what you are really made of. My name is Brianna Cole Mitchell. I am 35 years old now. I am a pediatric nurse practitioner, a homeowner, and most importantly, a mother to two beautiful children who know without doubt that their mama loves them. Gloria Mitchell said I was unfit. The test proved her wrong, and I would do it all again. Every sleepless night, every court appearance, every moment of terror and doubt. For them, I would do anything. That is what a fit mother does. That is who I am. That is who we all are. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it helped you. I hope it gave you strength. I hope it reminded you that you are capable of more than you know. Now go fight your battles. Go protect your children. Go show them what you are made of. I am rooting for you. We all are.